like it was probably anywhere from like 3 to 5 sacks a game for me because I had like I think I had like Reach Elite on them or something like I had what was it Elite something pass rush, and then I had I want to say I had Enforcer on him. So he was like coming off the line like super quick, and I'm getting all these sacks, and then his UL came out. And I'm like, my man can't even get off the block now. I'm like, what is going
Yeah.
on?
No, it definitely might be a thing. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to prove it, but I don't know. Maybe it's just superstition. But like, I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, I mean, I like I play a lot of the game. I probably have like over 2,500 hours in this year. So I mean, like I feel it because it's even like it happened with Clowney. Clowney was tearing it up. You know what I mean? Like I mean, eating right. So he's just chewing people alive. I mean, you probably had him at one point,
Yeah.
and he just disappeared.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's just what happens. Like where they just, I guess they just want you to use the new cards or whatever, and they just get outdated and they just don't play as well. That's what happens.
So now, like I said, going like what is the biggest feature that you're looking for from what they have told us already for Madden 21? Do you have
Uh,
anything yet that you're really like that stuck out to you that you really want?
I definitely want to test the zone drops, and I think it's gonna be super interesting. To where like if you think about the meta in terms of like at least passing, there wasn't a lot of passing this year, but like there were a lot of routes. Like and when people run bunch, they had this crosser that kind of got open versus every single zone where you had to use it. And like year before that, it was Pat Sale, and like there's every year there's some like unguardable routes in some formations to where I feel like this year with the zone drops there's not going to be any unguardable route anymore to where if you make the right adjustments you can take away those routes without having to use it pretty much every time. And it's going to be interesting to kind of lab that and see if it actually works.
Yeah, I'm hoping they come out. I just hope they really. I mean, like I get that like we had the COVID and all that stuff, and might not be like to where they were hoping it might be, but like they're back now. I think some of those guys are back in the office. I'm not sure how Florida is right now, but me personally, I just want them to actually listen and and take it in and put it together because it seems like we tell them so many things, and then it seems like they don't listen. Like they say they're listening to it, but then when they bring out the patch, I'm like, that has nothing to do with what we're complaining about.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's just weird. Like I don't know, man.
Now, do you think like with them having so much issues to the game and different things like that, do you think that like holds you guys back as an esports organization, like getting the bigger money?
Um, I don't know. I feel like with the prize pool, like they haven't. I mean, they've done like small increases like every year, but I don't know. I just feel like they're not taking like the next step into like making competitive Madden a lot bigger than. I just feel like it should be bigger than it is right now.
Yeah, I mean they're a multi-billion-dollar company. I mean,
Yeah, all that pep money, and it's just like
yeah.
you want to see them try to grow the esport because I really think it is like a great esport in terms of like the chess match and it's it's a sports game, but like there's a lot of thinking involved. At least
I
not really this
mean,
year, but it's a good esport. I just think they need to grow it or at least attempt to grow it.
now what goes into your stuff? Like you're going into a tournament. What goes into you prepping for it?
Just playing a lot of rep games with my crewmates like me, Jay Wall, D Croft, um, and a lot of us. We just play. We play a lot of games, especially during like tourney time or just during like the start of the year. We just play as many games as possible. Basically, just learning what works in the game, what doesn't, just trying different things out, and then just getting repetitions. And honestly, I think playing the leaderboards, especially during like club series, you play salary cap leaderboards against whoever, and I just think those were really good reps because you're playing all these different schemes and stuff. So by the time you're playing in those tournaments, you're prepared for pretty much every scheme that
Everything.
you could potentially face, and I think that's super important in terms of like getting reps.
So I mean, so now going, like I said, going into all of it, like how do you prepare besides like say you're going into it and you know you got to play D Croft or somebody like one of your teammates that you spend so much time with. How do you go into preparing for that game?
Well, it actually happened this year with the
I
Last
know.
Chance
Well,
One,
I
where
mentioned
literally, yeah,
it.
all four of my
You had to play them.
roommates in one live event, and it's just like you know what they're gonna run, so it's just kind of that thing to where it's just whoever plays better in that one game because you know everything that they're doing, and it's just you just gotta play good and not make mistakes because they're not really gonna pull anything out to where you haven't seen it before. So you just kind of know.
Now, do you ever put anything like your back pocket, like a play that you don't ever show?
Um, well, Joe actually did this to me. He used Michael Vick with no escape artist. He put or he did this thing when we played where he would audible to this like QB draw run with Michael Vick, and that was actually something I wasn't prepared for. And he did it again in like in the red zone. He did this little jet sweep where he'd glitch it and like he'd just take off with his quarterback, which it wasn't against the rules, so it was legal. But yeah, it was definitely something I hadn't seen before, which is kind of a reason that I lost is where I don't know. I guess I just didn't prepare as much. I didn't have anything that they hadn't seen, which is a mistake on my part. Um, but yeah, that's a lot that goes into it.
I mean, that's gotta be like I don't know, like it'd be wild. Like you guys run, like I said, you guys run so many games together, and that's all you guys do. And to see Decroft pull himself out of it, which he'll be on Monday night, so we get to talk to him on Monday. But to see him pull himself out of that, like, and just bang out, and then like it was like a whole like when he got to that big game, it was like another player. Like it was just like what he was trying to do just was that it wasn't working versus Joe like by any means.
Yeah,
And
and I mean he really like dominated everybody. Like he dominated. He beat J Wall. He beat like just again the Madden Bowl, and then Madden Bowl like this dude's preparation is insane. Like especially when I was out of the tournament, like that's when I could start labbing with him and helping him prepare for who he had to play at the Madden Bowl and all that stuff. And it's crazy the amount of time that dude puts in. Definitely deserved it over me, like 100%, because this dude is a complete nerd, like labbing 8 hours a day, just trying to block blitzes or just come up with certain defenses and all this stuff. It's crazy, but he definitely deserved it.
yeah, I mean, like I blew my mind though. Like to see Joe's defense just come out and just like ate him up. Like it was like there was nothing he could do, and I mean, I felt bad for him because I mean, like I mean, Joke was deserving of a championship finally. I mean, he's been there how many times, but for Decroft to come out of nowhere, because I mean, he started. I think he played last year when that's his first year, right? Last year, I think when he first started playing.
Yeah, yeah, both
So
of us,
he
both of us.
basically, I mean, both of you guys both make huge jumps this year. He just makes this crazy jump and just starts eating people alive. I was just like blown away. I was like, dude, is the game? And he was passing too. And that was the crazy thing. He's passing and running. And
Yeah, I
I
mean, some
and I
people that doesn't joke. I mean, obviously this is just kind of a game that fits his play style where you're running the ball,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
playing defense. Joke is definitely top three, if not the best defensive player in the world, which is why he dominated that game like in the final and like pretty much the whole tournament where he was just able to play really good defense. He had so much cap on defense. He had no quarterback, and that's just how it was.
So mind blowing. No quarterback and wins.
Yeah,
But
honestly,
I mean,
wow.
That's what I was saying. Like, but like I really thought D Croft was going to take it just because nobody really seen somebody going in playing balance the way he was. Like he was running, passing. And I said it to my chat while we were watching it because I had it up on the screen. I'm like, I really think he has a chance to take it just because nobody does this. Everybody's either run or they're pass. They're not both.
Yeah,
And
the thing about that is he was
end up
running a
being a
formation.
weakness.
Yeah, he was running a formation that no one ever plays. It's like in the Patriots book, it's called U trips. It's just a really unique formation that literally, he was the only one in like the whole MCS pretty much running that formation, uh, and it was just nobody got reps against it, and that's really another reason. And he was so good in that formation too.
Yeah.
It was just so hard to defend everything, and
And that's one thing that's
it's
that's
tough.
one thing I also thought that was kind of weird this year. So many people in the same playbook. Like it seemed like everybody wanted to either be in the Raiders playbook and then play like in a Jets defense or something like that. And I'm just like, why does everybody stay in the same playbook? Like it just I don't understand it because I've never played in like the competitive MCS. I don't understand why everybody stays in the same playbooks.
Yeah, it's just because people want to run what gives them the best chance to win. I mean, I don't blame them. Of course, I don't blame anybody for running the ball. We play with no quarterback. Probably something that I could have done. That I don't know. I was just too stubborn or just didn't doesn't fit my play style. But
Yeah.
people will choose any playbook or whatever that just gives them the best chance to win, no matter like how popular it is.
You see, I don't know. I think like my take on it is like I want to be the guy that's running something that nobody else is running. Like if I know I can run this playbook good, I'm gonna run it. Like and like I just think like if you come out like that, it makes it harder for somebody else to come back at you if they're not used to seeing that playbook.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there's a lot of players that think that way, in like the MCS, to where they're always going to be in a unique scheme. Like, for example, Scheming, he actually made the Madden Bowl. He's always ran super unique stuff and just run stuff that no one labs against, no one's seen before. And that's why he wins a lot, is because he's good and he runs unique stuff. And there are some players that just it can also be a disadvantage to where you just have that thing in your mind where you're being stubborn. You're like, I want to be unique and all this stuff. And
Yeah,
they'll just run offenses that really aren't good. They're like just because the fact that they want to be unique. But there are
yeah,
some people that can do it.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely got to be. So, like going into all this, I mean, were you a little scared with one great user with his voodoo he had going on?
Oh yeah, no, that was funny. I was just hoping that he would pick against D Croft or yeah against D Croft every game. It was crazy. He was like 0 for like 15 or something. It
Yeah,
was
I was like, it was funny. Like I'm sitting there watching it, and everybody's tweeting at him, "Don't pick me, don't pick me."
yeah. I
Like
don't know
we're
what was going on, but he just couldn't pick a game.
yeah,
It was
we're still trying to get him on here. We're trying to get him on the show. I want to get him on here so bad. He's the only one I have not been able to reach because he don't have his DMs open. Like it's so hard to get in touch with him like that. But um, so going into next year, what's the plan? What's the plan going into the competitiveness of all this?
um kind of the same as Madden 20. Just kind of get the game, just start playing as much as possible. Kind of learn like what the meta is and what works, what doesn't, and just uh, just grind.
So
Pretty much.
what's like a typical day for you of playing? Like, I mean, you say you don't do it as much as D Croft, but I mean, is that changed throughout the year? How much you play?
Yeah, no, it was just I made the live event, but I knew I had to win. I basically won 4 straight games to get to the Madden Bowl, and I knew like I hadn't been playing the game as much just because I just really didn't enjoy it. So I mean, I obviously wanted to win, but I wasn't gonna. I didn't put that much time in as Decraft to where Decraft only had to win 1 game to get in because of the online tournament, and I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't like my chances, but yeah, I
So
don't know.
I mean, with going into it, I mean, like I guess you played every one of them, right? Like, so are you going? Are you gonna? You gotta. Now, I guess you'll go down to the classic, right? And then if you, I guess you gotta. What do you have to do? Where do you have to place to make the next one? Do you have to be in the top two for that, or is that how's that work?
So the classic is basically just like a sign up thing where you register. I think you have to pay like a
Yeah,
fee up
it's
front,
like
and
50
then
bucks, I
you gotta,
think it is.
yeah, and then you have to just show up basically. But for the other tournaments for clubs, you just had to make sure you're registered, like sign up, pick your team, and then just play salary cap leaderboards. And that's basically at that time of the year. That's what I was doing. Just getting rep games in with my crewmates, and then just play like leaderboard games, like try and play like 3 or 4 a day, and just get
Now,
reps.
where do you have to place in the classic to get like a buy? I guess you want to say.
Buy like into the Madden Bowl.
Well, it doesn't it get you into the next. That'll take you what? That'll take you into where do you go from the first one? Like you start the first one and then you
Well,
go.
it's separate. Like the only thing you can get like an auto bid from the classic. Like if you get top two in the classic, you'll basically get an automatic spot in the Madden Bowl. But like depending on your placement, you get a certain amount of like MCS points, which can help you get to the Madden Bowl. If you have like if you place like top 14 in MCS points or whatever, then you can get into the Madden Bowl. But there's not really any like buy or anything that would help you get into like the next term.
No, I thought. See, that's where I was. I thought you. I thought if you finished at first or second place, like where they did, like Mo and Henry did, I thought you got
Yeah,
automatically to the next
it was,
tournament.
it was automatically to the Madden Bowl at the end of the
Manageable.
year.
Now, is that basically what it is? Like, so if you win the next one, like say you go through the leaderboard, whatever, you get into that tournament, you win that tournament, then you're automatically bidded into. Like each tournament sends you to the Madden Bowl if you win it.
Yeah, so basically how it works is it's like it's the top two from the classic, top two from draft champs, top four from the club series because the club series has the most money in it. So it's like basically it's like the biggest tournament of the year. Um, so the top four from the club series, and then uh, what is that? Yeah, it's six. No, it's eight. So there's 8 spots already in, and then the other 8 are from. Or there's 6 from basically the top. You take away the 6 people that are auto bid, and then you
Okay.
take the top 6 people in MCS points. And then after that 6, there's 2 more spots left, and that's the last chance qualifier tournament, which D Croft and Pavin made it through.
Hmm. I was actually surprised to see Pavin lose too because he was hot. Like he got real hot towards the end of it. He probably got hot like the perfect time. And I was actually surprised to see him fall out because he was playing so good.
Yeah, no, he was actually, in my opinion, he was like the best out of anyone that ran like gun bunch at that tournament. I thought Pavin was by far the best. Like it was crazy what he was doing with playmaker.
Yeah, I
He was
mean,
using playmaker and running around doing some crazy stuff.
I mean, like when going into it, I mean, it's definitely intense. Like, it's got to be like mind boggling. It's definitely got to be like really tough on your mental state going into this, knowing like who you might have to play. You might have to play your teammates, and then you may have to play like somebody like Skimbo real early. And I mean, what does that like? How is that in those tournaments? Does it change per tournament? Because I know there's different amount of money. So I mean, does the pressure get is it the same or does it change per tournament?
Definitely. I mean, in terms of pressure, I think clubs is definitely the highest like pressure tournament. Just because there's so much money involved in that tournament. It's actually like there's a $700,000 prize pool compared to all the other tournaments are like 225, 250. Where it's just there's a lot of pressure, and it's definitely a tournament that I haven't done good in. That's why I had to play through the last chance qualifier. Is because I lost in club series this year. So if I basically I did the Cowboys club, and if I won the Cowboys club, I would be in the Madden Bowl based off of just MCS points, where I wouldn't have even had to play through last chance qualifier. So
Now,
that's just
now the real question I'm gonna shoot this question. The real question is who's the guy that you most you least like in this